Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey Russ, how you doing today? Did you eat too much turkey? Thanksgiving. Can you believe Thanksgiving's already gone?
No, actually, it was just mom and I. So I went to,
Oh, okay.
I got a pie and a chicken from Costco. So we had a nice, simple dinner. It was nice. We watched some movies, and
Yeah,
it was
okay.
a wonderful. But I wanted to recognize one holiday. I don't know if anybody else has done this, but there's probably some emails out or some notifications out for Black
Yeah,
Friday and Cyber Monday, but today's Giving Tuesday.
right.
So if you want to reach out and give something to someone, even a few free smiles or a little bit of kindness, that would be wonderful. So I
Yep.
just want to recognize Giving Tuesday and let you know that the holiday season is upon us.
Right. It's here. And a lot of times when you give on these special days, people have a lot of nonprofits have like matching gifts. And if they get these donations and they get the support on certain days, it gets magnified. So that's another reason they have these, because some people are going, well, why do we have a Giving Tuesday? We could give it any time. But a lot of big foundations, they, do matching gifts. And so you,
Absolutely.
you have to raise 10 or 25,000 and then they give you 25,000. So keep that in mind when you're giving. And yeah, we certainly hope that you'll do that. So,
Well, what are
um,
we giving away today in terms of tips and recommendations for new authors or anyone that's writing a book or looking to publish a book or creating some content
right.
around their existing books?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about distribution. So, even if you've already got a book, maybe you've got a book and you've already published and you're looking for additional ways to sell that book, because in our mind, marketing is different than distribution. Okay. Marketing is the promotion of it. Distribution is the actual sales. Where can you sell your book? And everybody thinks of bookstores, everybody knows about libraries, most people know about schools. But you can sell to churches, you can sell to corporations, you can sell to the military, you can sell to college campuses and universities. But each of these distribution networks have to be handled in a different way. And that's what we want to talk about a little bit today. You cannot talk to the military in the same way that you would talk to, for instance, a college campus or a nonprofit. They just don't have the same language. So you need to find out what kind of language, what people are talking about, how they buy and how they purchase. So people like the military and people like large cities, public entities like public libraries, they have a purchasing system, an order system, and you have to get on their list before you're going to be allowed to sell your books to them. Now, of course, we have military bases all over the world, and those military bases have commissaries, which is basically like a lunchroom or a gift store or their basic store where people on the base can come there and buy things. And so they have books, they have magazines, they have periodicals, newspapers. So that's a source that a lot of people don't think about. But you have to go through one of their distributors, just like for retail outlets, for bookstores. You have to go through somebody like Ingram Publishing or Choice Books. So think about those things, and we're going to share more tips like that. And you're going to find more of these examples in our e-newsletter. At right now it's at lizlawless.com. You can go there and put your email in and see these past articles. I think we got about 75 articles now. So if you're looking to expand your author adventure and your journey and learn some more about these different areas, these 5 secrets that Russ and I often share with you about, go there today or after the show is over. So
Yeah,
um,
don't leave right now. Don't
yep, don't leave
stick
yet.
around. Don't
'Cause
don't run away. And also, I want to add this, Liz, because it's important. If you have questions or you have anything that is on your mind, and you want to receive some assistance or support, feel free to jump in and ask questions during the show. This is a live show, and if you're watching on the repeat, reach out to us, make that connection, allow us the opportunity to help you,
right.
because we want to make sure that we're helping those that want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, whether writing a book or creating their content or just being creative in general. So
Right. And you can find us on all the platforms. Russ is easy to find. He's at bookruss.com. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're on all those platforms. You can follow us or send us a message. And we're certainly happy to talk with you and share anything. But we want to get right to our show because we're very excited today that we have got author Karol Clark. Karol is a multi-book author. She also is a bariatric business coach. And maybe we'll tell y'all a funny story about that when we talk about how she got into this business and we met. Karol, welcome to the show. So glad to have you.
Hey, Russ. Hi, Liz. It's so nice to be here. Thanks for including me.
Anytime.
Yeah.
So we'll just start, we usually kind of start with how did you get into your author adventure? And then I'm going to just stay for that part. And then I'm going to ease out and let you and Russ have a more in-depth conversation. And then I'll jump back in at the end. But
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I started out sort of in an odd way. I work with my husband. His name's Dr. Tom Clark, and I was at a conference, and one of the conference presenters was talking about writing a book and how you can use that to advance your business. And as entrepreneurs, sounded pretty darn good. And I talked to somebody at the conference who had actually worked with Liz to help publish their book. So before you know it, I was reaching out to Liz, and over a pretty short, we put together probably for Tom about four books, and then started publishing some of my own as my own consulting business started to take off. And it's been remarkable. I do really like writing, and I love content marketing, and I love the whole marketing side of it, which is kind of odd since I'm a nurse. You might not find that, but I was connected with Liz, and then I sort of just caught that fever for publishing books. And then she and I worked together, writing a book, publishing other people's books, continuing to publish our books. And it was really just an amazing, kind of caught the fever. And I've been interested and involved ever since.
Yeah, and it's been so fun, and because when we first launched Tom's books, because he's a bariatric surgeon, one of the best in the world, and certainly in the United States, and they had one of the very first weight loss centers, like complete centers, where you actually not only got surgery, but you also understood you had to change your behavior, where a lot of people didn't do that. A lot of surgeons just do surgery and then you let you go and you gain the weight back. And, and people are really disappointed. And Karol and Tom weren't like that. So they didn't even have Amazon. They had weight loss, obviously, and health and fitness, but they didn't have a bariatric category. But we were in there every day searching. We were in there putting in keywords. We were in there putting in categories. We were in there looking at everything. And all of a sudden, one day, I'm searching and bariatric comes up. And I say, you got to be kidding me. I called Karol. I said, Karol, they just added a bariatric category because we've been in there every day for the last month because we loaded like 3 books in a row. They had already written all the content. They had a lot of the copy because they talked to their patients every day. We just had to package it up and put it out there. So it was just astonishing. But we can say that we got Amazon to add a category they did not have. So they add new stuff every once in a while. So you got to always be looking at it and watching it. So
right. If anyone could do it, it would be you for sure.
Yeah. So it was great fun. So
I'm always amazed at how much Liz uncovers. The more I know her, the longer we work together. She's always got something to uncover on the creative process, and she's been around. She's been there, done that.
Yeah.
Probably bought the shirt and has the mug. It's one of those things that we just have to continue to support because there's years of knowledge and experience there. So
yeah, I even got to come visit out there in Texas, and then she came here to Virginia, and we worked with authors here, authors there. So lots and lots of fun for sure. But it's amazing to me. You can take a topic like writing and publishing, you can make it as complicated as you want, but then really we worked hard to try to streamline it, and you can accomplish a lot when you just simplify the process and then work with somebody who has experience and then move forward from there. So before you knew it, we had everything all set up and our books were rolling, and it's been really exciting, an exciting journey for sure.
Okay, well, great. Well, I'm going to ease out. Russ, you can take me out because I want to do, you got a little video that you put together, and you can drop that in whenever you want to, and then I'll come back at the end and we'll wrap up.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good to see you,
thanks,
Liz.
Liz. And we'll be back shortly. So I have to ask, there's so many things that we could talk about and expand on, and it's probably worthy of a second visit to the show, and also expanding on some of the topics that people are curious about. Because Karol, I've written books, I've published books, and been in the creative space for a long time. And I really, I was going through some of your books, and I wanted to share a little video I created to actually kind of go over some of the books and then come back and talk a little bit about them, if it's okay with you. So
sure, that sounds great.
It's kind of exciting, but it's really kind of a planting the seed for people that say, well, I can't because I have this going on, or I can't do this, or, forget the can't. Figure it out and find a way to do it. If it's on your heart and it's on your mind, and it's something that you can think about or you desire, there's ways to get it done. And that's why we're here at Author Adventure, and people like Karol are going to share with you some of the things that they've accomplished over time. So I want to share this video, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Okay, great. Uh-oh.
There's Tom.
Tom, yeah. Kiddos.
Wonderful family.
See, a lot of girls in our family too.
Yeah. Looks like a wonderful family.
Yeah.
There's the crew.
Great team here too, yeah.
This is why we're here. So
Russ, I had no idea you were putting that together. That was so fun to watch.
Well, it's something that we do on occasion, because we talk about the creative process, and we also practice a creative process. The show like this, and just having conversations like this, it's wonderful, Karol, to be able to kind of explore the person behind the book. There's a lot more to authors than what we would like to imagine. It's like, okay, somebody writing in an office there, just writing all day, writing. And it's not necessarily that. There's other dimensions to our life. And being in the medical practice, most of my experience in the medical practice was a patient. So it's like, I really appreciate the fact that you're here helping others with their circumstance. And so, when you started writing, or you started this creative journey, what was, you went to the conference, you thought about this. So what was the first book that you worked on and discovered?
The first book we did was 21 questions you needed to ask before you have weight loss surgery. And that was partly because we get asked so many questions. And at the time, it was before COVID, when we still did on-site seminars with potential patients.
Yeah.
And they all had so many questions, and some they should ask, which they did, or some of them that they asked a lot. Some of them they should have asked, but maybe didn't. And we put it all together in one book. So when people would come into the seminar, when they left, they actually left with that paperback book so that they could take it home, digest it. And it was sort of it was a patient education tool, but it also was an expanded sort of business card that had some success stories in, some motivation. And it turned out to be a really important tool in the practice, and something no one else was doing. And it helped educate them, and really helped, because it's not for everyone. Not everyone should have weight loss surgery. And so we wanted to make sure that people understood really what's involved, in that what it involves afterwards and throughout the process. So that was the first one. And then it's funny, you talk about how people write, and you could see, Tom and I were entrepreneurs. I've worked full time my whole life. We have 4 kids. So you're grabbing time when you can. So it's one of those things that for me, I like to sit down and try to do it all at once. So what I would do, just an aside, is I would like kind of gather it all together, outline everything, and then I'd go away from the family for like a set period of time, a few days, and I would just really kind of narrow it down, bring it back. Tom would edit and kind of go through it again, and then we move forward with the process. But where there's a will, there's a way, for sure. But it was so busy running the practice, doing everything and taking care of the kids, and then so. But you just figure out a way. And I know
you figure out a way.
Yeah,
I want to
so
go back to the
really
point though, and this is a nugget of knowledge I want to leave with everyone, is that the FAQs that everybody was asking already, and this works in every business, everybody has similar questions about your services or some of the things you're offering the public. And so your patients or your customers or your community, they all have similar questions, and that's great information for a book. And so pulling that together is a brilliant idea. And I applaud you for doing that, because it probably saved you hours and hours compared to the amount of time it took to write that.
It did. And plus it was something that people would share with others.
Yeah.
So it ended up being really so helpful in many, many ways. And then we kind of like I said, caught the fever. And then we started writing how to prepare for weight loss surgery, what to expect after weight loss surgery. We did a whole medical weight loss book. We included our patients. We did these big launches with nothing elaborate, like financially. It was all fun. It was like patients who were in the book. We do a signing with them.
Yeah.
We had events just in the office, and it was really just a way to showcase our patients and celebrate them and celebrate the work that we were doing and get the word out. So we used it in a lot of different ways that, and we still do. So it really was really helpful for the patients and for the practice.
Well, it gets people involved in the community, and that essence of, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one. And I'm asking for help. Help is here. And it's a loving community that everybody can appreciate and understand once they get that information. So what was the most challenging book that you've gone through and kind of went through the writing process with?
Sure. I think the first one.
Okay. All right.
Even though it was an easy concept, it was just the process. So, anytime something's new, it was kind of like, it was anxiety producing, so it made it more difficult than it had to be. But then once you do one and you're like, okay, I can do this. It was like, okay, this is going to be all right. Now I've got a method down. I know it can work. But if I think content wise, Fulfilled After 50 was one I wrote with a friend of mine here, and we used to do a lot of talks for women's groups. That book was a little bit more, I was more vulnerable in that book because we were sharing kind of our story and how we got to where we are and the struggle, so you talk a little bit more vulnerable. So for me, that one was a little bit harder because I was a little hesitant to put some of that vulnerability out there for women to, that can relate to it,
It's scary.
So that one was probably a little bit more just from a personal perspective. It made me anxious from that perspective. The business type books, it's because what I do every day, and I know that it helps surgeons and physicians across the U.S. Now I get to work with them one-on-one. Those books are just, to me, really fun to write because it takes something that docs can make really hard because you don't learn it in school, and it simplifies the process and it shows what can be done. Because you're a huge marketer. You do a lot of content. You have a lot of content, and so many times they don't really understand how you can use that for SEO, for getting your name out there, for building that additional authority and credibility, and just having people find you. So I love that part of it. So those were a little bit easier because I just know I'm helping so many docs and people who don't really understand some of the business side, believe it or not, because they're used to the medical side. That's where they thrive. So
Well, I don't think they teach a lot of marketing in medical school. The last time I checked, anyway.
not a
So
nursing school either. So
not a nursing school.
I'm
Yeah.
just like a sponge, but I'm like, I think, a lot of your mantras, being kind is really important to me. Having integrity is really important to me, and having fun along the way. And I'm a sponge. I love learning new things all the time. So,
Oh,
um,
it's
so that's what
exciting.
makes it fun.
Well, one of the things that I love, thinking about this is the nursing and the creative process, marketing this, because you're naturally an expert in the field of talking about your practice because you've been
Mhm.
involved and engaged in it for a long time. And so the marketing of that, it takes another level because you have to think about, okay, how am I going to message this in a way that people resonate with? And then also, how do I communicate on a regular basis? And a book is such a great door opener for conversations. Like I always say, you're one conversation away of talking to someone you need to help. And
Yes.
the reality is a book is such a terrific tool. So how are you using it, and how do you see yourself using it in the future? Or are there
Sure.
other books in the future for you?
There are actually. I've got a couple more in me that
Ah,
I want to get out, and I want to also go back and just provide a few updates. But I'm sort of sometimes, as any human being, sometimes you think, why would someone want to listen to something I have to say? Like, is it important enough? But
yeah.
as we build our practice sites, we had so many people coming and saying, is this a franchise? Can I duplicate this where I am? And I
Mm,
just thought to myself, well, I'll just help you do it. It's not a franchise. We don't want a friend. I'll just help you. So this the weight loss practice builder is my consulting business, and it just kind of evolved. And I use the books to help as I grow work with them to grow the practice. But I also have some companies that'll bring me in as a guest speaker, and they'll give my books to everyone in the audience. They literally will buy enough books for everyone who's in the audience, which to me is it's kind of crazy, but
I
it
think it's
really
brilliant.
it's yeah. So for me, it has really opened some doors, and I'm been blessed to work with really nice physicians. I work with like pretty intensely with them, so I don't work with
Mhm.
hundreds, thousands of them at one time. I just have that in my group, and but it really opened up so many doors and helped me be recognized a little bit more in the field. I'll go to conferences, and if they have bookstores, mine will be in the bookstore where they do book signings,
Mm.
and it's really been fun. And now I write regular blogs for different companies, so the writing can take on a whole life of its own. And then I help other physicians learn how to do that too, or even white label some of the things that we've created. So it's been really the book really was uh, a great lever for
Mm.
opening up many, many doors.
It seems like a lot of authors that we talk to, um, the unexpected side effects are that it builds the authority in the market. And so now that you have your practice, you're helping other physicians work in their practice and expand that. And I just want to share that you're an authority over someone that knows less about the subject, and there's always going to be somebody else that might know a little bit more or a little different topic. However, start where you are.
Yeah.
Take your message, take your gift, and share it with the world, because we're living in the most amazing time in the history of humanity, where we have the opportunity to share this information. 20 years ago, this probably wasn't going to be happening.
Mhm.
And now you have built your authority, you've built your practice, you have your practice with your husband, and all of these things are evolving into something that you probably hadn't thought about when the first book appeared.
Not at all. Yeah, I know. In fact, now the practice, I mean, we have a great team there. Some have been with us for over 20 years. So I'm really not in the practice so much anymore. I'm doing mostly all weight loss practice builder consulting.
Mhm.
And that I would have never thought in a million years.
Mhm.
But when you're passionate about something and you really want to do it for the right reasons, I love seeing practices, go from like just leasing space 2 days a week into like their whole facility, or one that started out with just 10 patients and now they're up to, hundreds, or they start out with a negative balance sheet and now, they've come to the point where they're profitable and they can actually reinvest in their practice. So, but being a part of that to me is just amazing.
That's priceless. That is priceless.
Mm.
And this is the fact that we can help people.
Mm-hmm.
One of my missions in life is help more people, help more people. And if I could create something that they can use to amplify their message and some of the things that they're an expert in, that just is so satisfying when you could see people being successful as a result of your efforts. So
that's why I love what you and Liz are doing, helping people get beyond. Sometimes we have to get out of our own way and realize that we just don't know what we don't know. So you just search it out and you find, intelligent, kind, experienced people like, that can help you through. And it's really amazing.
So what's the favorite part of marketing that you enjoy?
I've never thought I would say this, but I really love creating content and then leveraging content. So, for example, like I'll do a podcast, but I always do video, and then I take that and it turns into a blog, and then I create marketing materials to lead to the blog, and I do that for physicians in a variety of states, and they get some of them want teleprompters and that we can do that. Other ones just like bullet points, but I love taking something that people really want and need to know and then doing it in a video and then leveraging it all across for content marketing. I'm a big organic marketing geek, and I'm not a paid expert. And when people ask me, can you help me with paid? I'm like, no, I don't do any paid. I love the organic side of it. And so for me, I love creating something and then being able to leverage it so that you get the most out of what you're doing. Because as a business owner, I don't know about you, but you get pitched a lot of stuff that makes no difference in your practice. And a lot of times when you just don't know, and so you pay for things that literally do nothing for your practice. So to take people and be able to like get them out there in a bigger way and to really create a way for them to reach their ideal patients that's really fun to me. So that's my favorite part.
And I love the idea of, the experiment becomes the experience. So you know what works and you know what doesn't.
Yeah. Right. And if you can save somebody that pain of what doesn't work, then, and we all know, it's changing all the time, but by and large, you can create like a lot of traffic to your site and a lot of excitement just by being unique and different and showing yourself out there. And so if you can get past the fear of that, it can be it can be a big thing.
Well, I know for a fact after teaching, podcasting for over a decade is that nobody likes their voice when they first hear it from a recording. And nobody likes the way they look on camera.
Right.
And everybody thinks that they need to do, they need all of the right stuff. And if nothing else has taught us in the last couple of years is that we can get on camera. We can be authentic. We don't need to be overproduced. We need to just be ourselves and be confident in the message we're sharing. And it's just such a beautiful thing that we could continue to create content from this. So really appreciate you being here, Karol. This is wonderful to have a new insight to share with the community. So
right now you're making me want to go watch some of your podcast training. I watch your things, but I'm gonna have to go search that out for 10 years worth. That's a big nugget.
Well, we'll have to connect on LinkedIn. I hang out there now and then. So what's your favorite social platform? Where do you?
I actually for business, LinkedIn and Instagram probably are my two favorites.
It's always evolving, so it's always it's always a joy. We like to hang out. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on Twitter these days. So
I know. I'm waiting till the dust settles on that one.
Yeah, we'll wait till the dust settles. Well, I want to bring Liz back in and wrap this up because I know you have things to do. And I just want to make sure that we're sharing this information. And if you're not connected with Karol, please connect, reach out, go track her stuff down. she's an awesome individual that you need to know. And we just have an opportunity to make connections here and do the things we want to do. So really appreciate you being here, and look forward to every Tuesday. And Liz, come on back.
Yeah, I'll do it. Well, thanks so much. Yeah. So for those of you who are maybe listening to the podcast, I want to go ahead. It's Karol Clark. It's Karol Clark, CLARK. So Karol Clark with a K. You can find her, like you say, on LinkedIn and Instagram. She'll be there and available. You want to connect with her because like you say, in addition, obviously, Karol works with physicians, but she's a master marketing person. She loves technology. She can, she can advise you on those things, and she can participate with that. Her main website there is Weight Loss Practice Builder or Weight Loss.
weightlosspracticebuilder.com. And if you go to weightlosspracticebuilder.com/free, I have a ton of business building free resources there too.
Right. So that's weightlosspracticebuilder.com. So weightlosspracticebuilder.com. weightlosspracticebuilder.com/free. And you'll get a lot of resources from Karol. So, well, Karol, we appreciate you being here so much. Like you say, the time goes so fast. So we will have to have you come back. And maybe you can come back because we've been talking about doing kind of a technology piece. Because that's kind of our bonus. We believe those 5 secrets that I always talk about: marketing, publishing, launching, distribution. Those are the big ones, but technology is kind of its whole other animal. And because it changes so rapidly, like you say, and we're always advising people to have their website, to have their name, to have the name of their books as URLs, because that's your own real estate, and you saw some of the other websites. That's Karol and them's Weight Loss Practice. That's some of the other things they do, but they own this real estate, so nobody can take it away, And so when you go on, we love LinkedIn, we love Facebook, we love Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We love these platforms, but we don't own that. And even Amazon. I mean, Amazon's probably not going away, but we just saw Twitter got bought out. We don't know what's going to happen to Twitter. We don't know if it's going to survive or it's going to not survive, or it's going to get passed off to something else, or it's going to change.
It will thrive.
Yeah. So
that's my bet
too. Yeah, I agree.
But anyway,
I love that I agree. We try to drive all traffic back to the website. We love building our own email list, even though some people say email is dead. I don't. We utilize that in the business, and it's amazing to always be building that. Membership sites are another great way. I mean, I think I like too many things, but I like the things that work.
Guilty as charged, Karol. So I'm
sure
we can nerd out for a few minutes.
Yeah. So one last thing, if you have one last thing you want to leave with folks, either if they're writing or maybe they've even already published, what would you tell them, Karol?
I would say if whenever you write your book, just always know the purpose behind your book, whether it's legacy, whether it's something business related, and make sure that you have a way to connect with your readers throughout your book to gather their information for those that want to continue to follow you. I think that's one of the greatest ways to use your book is to actually have some what they call calls to action, or a way for people to actually be able to connect back with you. And oftentimes that's forgotten. And sometimes it's just, we want to create this book, and then we create this book and wonder why it may not take us some of the places that we want to go. So just being very mindful of that, and just always, being true to yourself and your message, and don't be afraid. That's what I would think.
Don't be afraid. No fear.
Yeah, no fear, for sure. And that's it. And a call to action would be something like your email or your website or your social connection. That's what we mean by call to action. So if you're new and you don't know what a CTA is, that's what that is. And you can build that into your book in a place where it makes sense. If you're in a chapter of your book and you can say, I don't have enough time to share everything with you in this chapter, but if you go to my website at so-and-so/free, you can get these additional resources. And then that way you're driving that traffic, just like Karol was talking about. So
Yep.
Great tips, great strategies. Those of you that are listening, I hope y'all are taking notes. And Karol, we just thank you so much. It's always fun to have you. Always great to see you.
I
Hug
love
Tom and the
seeing you too.
kids. I know you'll be seeing all the kids for the holidays. And I can't believe how grown they've got, because they were all in middle school or whatever when we started working together years ago.
Right. And now
they're-
there are ones left in college. The rest are all moved around the U.S. So
They're all
Wow.
being successful professionals, and we love that. We love it when the kids do well. So, but thanks so much, and continued success for you. We pray, we're hoping that you just continue to do more and more and help more people.
thanks,
Thank you
Liz.
so
And Russ,
much.
it was just a pleasure. Thank you so much. Great to get to talk with you
Likewise.
too.
Look forward to future
Thank you.
conversations.
Okay.
So everyone, thank you so much for being here today, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Take
next
care.
Tuesday we'll be back. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.